Previously from the Hood Blogger.
Holiday weekend, police say 19 shootings occurred across the city, leaving 46 people injured and 6 people unalived. At around 9:15 p.m. Friday, police officers were called to the intersection of York and 2nd Streets in North Philly. Yo, this SB Twiz, the Hood Blogger. Y'all know how I carry it. Shout out to everybody that been rocking with the content. I appreciate y'all. If you're new to the channel, bro, hit the sub. You won't be disappointed. If you're a returning viewer, bro, what's the hold up if you ain't hit that sub and that bell yet? Y'all do not know when I'm going to drop. But let's get into it, man. You know, it's a new bill that's in the process of getting passed for, all EBT receivers. And that bill consists of, no sweets and juices and stuff, like no snacks and stuff like that. Let me just, I'm gonna give my take, man, because y'all know I like to take stuff from a different angle. And what I'm gonna say is this right here is the proof that the system was set up just, for it to be destruction at the end for what group of people. You dig what I'm saying? Although they always talk about like Caucasians and stuff that's on these benefits, and they say statistically wise that they are actually using these things more than us, but at the end of the day we still is basically the minority of America. So if you really break down the percentages, and in the average hoods in Philly, everybody is either on stamps or at some point in time survived off food stamps. And if you got kids and stuff like that, bro, come on now. Of course you're gonna get your chicken, your ground beef and all that, but we all know that kids at the end of the day, they you know what I'm saying, they gonna want their snacks, bro. You dig what I'm saying? I remember back when food stamps was, y'all remember the paper, the bill jones that came on the sheets that was all connected and all that. You dig what I'm saying? But before I break down on what I think that's going on, I just want y'all, I gotta drop the receipt first.
Bill would not allow people to use SNAP benefits to buy junk food in Pennsylvania. This bill directs the Department of Human Services to seek a waiver from the USDA. 12 other states are pursuing similar waivers with varying restrictions on sugary foods and drinks. Republican state senators Michelle Brooks and Doug Mastriano say the health impacts of high sugar and ultra-processed foods are passed on to taxpayers through health care programs.
Our department has encouraged states to think differently and creatively about how to solve the many health issues facing Americans.
These restrictions, they don't solve hunger or improve health. They only limit choices for people who already face barriers.
Pennsylvania already does not allow people on SNAP to buy alcohol and tobacco.
Okay, so I thought it was 5 other states. So it's basically 12 other states. Now, you dig what I'm saying? They talk about the snacks and everything, and the lady also said drinks. I would want to assume that they're talking about like Hawaiian punches and stuff like that. That's crazy right there if that's the case. But they also, still have WIC where you can get like juicy juice and stuff like that. Now, let's just debunk, pretty much what's going on right now. Now, for one, I just gotta say this. We all know that the meats and stuff like that we getting is not the best. I'm not gonna say certain words on here. I'm definitely not giving no type of medical information and nothing like that. But at the end of the day, it's like we know things that's happening from people from even consuming the meats and all that. But they try to say that, it's basically to live more healthy and things of that nature. But EBT and stuff like that was created, for single parent households, like, mothers that was basically raising their kids alone and stuff like that. And if you was a family, as far as man and woman, your income had to really be very low. You dig what I'm saying? But then they eventually started putting things in place where it's like, if you are able to get a job, you have to get a job. Now, let's just think of everything that happened. The system was set up, for mothers to be single. And a lot of times we hear in the black community that was one of the main things that separated the man from the household. So if we're going to take it back and we're going to look at it from that aspect, look at all the things that was given, to single mothers and stuff like that. So eventually, as time went on, it got to the point where, it's crazy and it's sad to say, but the average black couple is not lasting. It's a lot of relationships that's even done before the baby even comes out. And then it got to a point where if you a woman or something like that and somebody have a daughter and then they daughter repeat the process, the first thing that's put in their head is apply for food stamps, child support, housing program. It's just a cycle that is embedded in the black community. So with me saying that, y'all had to remember when Big T first came in office, the first thing that he signed, which I don't think started yet, but he did sign an executive order for, mothers that got their baby fathers on child support, that the fathers that is on child support has the right to, claim those children on their taxes. So we know that the system was already set up to, if you was on child support, bro, you ain't getting no tax return. So that's one thing right there. The second thing that he did was, put in, I believe they said it was 2 years before, the Section 8 voucher and public housing is over.
Crisis, the Trump administration is pushing to impose a 2-year time limit on Section 8 vouchers and public housing. A study from New York University warns that more than 1.4 million households could lose assistance. Landlord groups also say the plan could lead them to stop accepting vouchers altogether. Critics say the policy could worsen homelessness nationwide.
After that, they signed the executive order for EBT receivers that basically, if you got to get a job unless you have a child that is, dealing with some type of disability or something like that, and y'all can do y'all research on that. So now it's to the point where, the system that they used to divide the households and made it so easy for, couples and stuff not to stay together. Now they're using it against the one that's left, the single mothers. And now, the single mothers are now getting attacked and stuff by the same system that was set up to use them against the black man. Now, at the end of the day, what I can say is, everybody, if you are able, it's not too late. You just got to stay on top of what's going on and, just try to get ahead of it. But at the end of the day, they really trying to clean society up. And a lot of people that, are in certain tax brackets, of course, they frown upon, people that receive EBT and stuff like that, and even housing and everything. So they're just looking at every angle that, which they try to say, the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer. But, we are in a society when you can strive, but y'all have to keep your eyes open. I'm pretty sure nobody is really talking about this as far as at least, as far as Philly and the state of Pennsylvania. So I just felt as though this was important to touch up on. But like I said, man, it's slowly but surely changing. We have to keep up, and we got to try to do better, man, as men and as women. We if you are dealing with an issue with, whoever your child's mother or your child's father, if you can, try your hardest, to make it work, man. If you a woman out there and you feel like you need a 6-figure guy and all that, 9 times out of 10, that's not happening. And if you meet a guy that got 6 figures, most likely, at the end of the day, whatever treatment you getting from that man, you not the only person that's gonna be getting that attention. So we just gotta build these households, and fathers, we need to step up, man. All that chilling with 30 people all day, man. What we see in the trenches, man. We gotta call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, if you're not out earning for your family, you should be at home with your family. Cause at the end of the day, we getting wiped out. We wondering why we going to jail and losing our lives, man. We out here wasting our lives when you at a certain age and you out here just chilling, bro. Like, come on, man. Tomorrow not promised for nobody. But when we go to jail and all that, then that's when we want to miss our kids and, worry about your kids in school and getting bullied. But when we out here, we got to be doing what's right, and for the women, like, got to stop being so So short-tempered, man. It's gonna be arguments. There's no such thing as perfection. It's like black people, we the only ones that you see on Instagram where they will point out a celebrity couple and say that's relationship goals. There's no such thing as a relationship goal. That's a relationship norm. You don't see, the other races and stuff like that putting up photos of celebrity couples that's gonna make it look good, because everything cool when you got money, but even with the celebrity couples, they get in one little argument or a disagreement and they divorcing and splitting up. It don't make no sense, man. But keep your eyes open, y'all. It's in effect. Please believe it's gonna hit within the next few months. SB Twiz Hood Blogger.